Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we will be doing some cow print nails with some diamonds. As you guys can see here, I'm just removing the shine from her natural nails. Her cuticles were already pushed back and cut. Let me know if you guys can see better. I'm still playing around with angles with my new stand, so I hope it's at least better than the last video. We're going to continue to remove the shine from all 10 of her nails. Remember that you do this step because our natural nails produce natural oils and acrylic does not like oils. So if you don't do this step, you will get lifting. You want to remove the shine to where your nails will look like white, like ashy. Your nails will look like ashy. That's where you know you have removed all the shine from the natural nails. It's very, very important, and this will reduce your chances of lifting. When you're done removing the shine from their natural nails, you want to dust away all the dust, and right here I'm using a manicure brush with some 90% alcohol. And remember, I use alcohol when I'm dusting away their nails because alcohol plays a role as a dehydrator. And remember, before applying the acrylic, you want their nails dehydrated as possible because that removes the oils as well from their natural nails, and that helps with your lifting. So I probably use alcohol on their natural nails about 2-3 times before actually applying acrylic, and I don't use a dehydrator. I use a primer. So as you can see here, I'm going to go in and start placing her tips. When you do your tips, you want to remember that you want them to fit from sidewall to sidewall. You don't want a tip to be too small or too big. If you have a tip that is too big, you want to go with a bigger one, and you want to just file down little by little on the sides until it fits perfectly. If you use a tip that's too small and you're having to press it down too hard and it just doesn't naturally fit on the natural nail, then that nail tip, that's how you know it's too small. Then that nail will eventually pop off. So just go with a bigger one if you don't have a size that fits perfect, and file it down a little bit. So yeah, we're just gonna go in here and apply all her tips. After that, we will cut them to the length that she wants and shape them to the shape that she wants. So as you guys can see here, I'm going in with my nail tip cutter and I am cutting down to the desired length that she wants. Then I'm going to go in and cut the little corners and shape them up a little bit because we do like a tapered square. Here's where I'm going in and I'm cutting the little corners with my nail clippers, and this helps with cutting down the time of filing. You do this if you're doing coffin, tapered square, stiletto, almond, just anything, pretty much any shape. Even with square, I do it just straight up, not at an angle, because it really cuts down the time on having to file the sidewalls. Now I'm going in with my file and perfecting her shape. When I file, I rotate from side to side, and make sure you hold your file straight. You don't want to hold your file curve. Since I'm left-handed, I haven't really figured out a way to just file with just my left hand. So when I'm filing the right side of the nail, I use my right hand, and when I'm filing the left side of the nail, I use my left hand. So I'm going to continue to do that on all 10 nails. Now here I'm going in with that same sanding band, and all I'm going to do on all 10 nails is blend in where the tip and the natural nail meet. This step is totally optional. It's just something I've always done. It doesn't affect the, your acrylic application or how long your nails last. This is just something I've always done, and I don't ever skip this step. So it's totally optional. You don't have to do it, but it's just my preference. Now when we're done with that, we're going to get ready for the acrylic application. You're going to dust their nails, and here I'm going again with that same manicure brush and some more alcohol and removing all the dust completely. Now we're going to begin to start the acrylic application. After getting rid of all the dust, you want to go in with your primer, or if you use a dehydrator, use your dehydrator, then go in with your primer. I'm going in with my primer, and I'm going to give each nail 2 coats of primer. Now we are getting ready to do the acrylic application. We are doing a milky white, and this is a color that I made myself, and I always just put this color in one of my Young Nails containers. So when doing the acrylic application, for me, I always lay my first bead where the natural nail and the tip meets, and the reason why I do that is because from right there and a little bit above and a little bit below that area is where your apex is going to be. So you want that to be the thickest point and highest point of the acrylic nail, and that's going to be the strongest point of the nail. So you want to build that apex, and I feel like laying down the first acrylic bead right there helps with you really building that area up. So I continue working all the way down until I'm happy with the thickness in the apex area, and lastly I lay my bead right by the cuticle area. And the reason why I do that is because I feel like I don't have to stress about the cuticle area too much. I don't have to worry about continuing building the nail too much, unless I go back like right here and just add a little bit more if I see it needs it. But for the main part of the nail, you really want to make sure that that apex is really strong. So again, I'm gonna do that to all 10 nails. You'll see again here, I'll start right where the natural nail and the tip meets. You lay it down and then swipe gently. You don't want to swipe all the product away. So then I'm gonna lay a bead right underneath that, and then I'll brush upwards sometimes, and then keep feathering the bead down. And as you see me doing the acrylic application, you will see me continuously wiping my brush. You want to wipe your brush because you don't want acrylic building up in your brush. So don't forget to wipe your brush, and you can always go back and get more liquid. When I'm doing nails, like right there, you're gonna see that I slightly just run my brush on the outside of the nail, and that's because that helps with you keeping that shape. You're not gonna really bulk up the nail and create too much of filing later on when you're trying to get that shape back. So just slightly swipe the brush on the side of the nails, like right there, and then you'll be able to keep that shape and you don't have to do a lot of filing. So I'm going to do this to all 10 nails. It's going to be the same process. I just wanted to tell you guys, remember when you guys are doing nails, don't worry about oh, if I can do this nail in 1 bead or 2 beads or 3 beads. Like, that's not the important part. The important part is you want a nice solid foundation, and that's what's going to make your work last. Even for me, like, I don't do 1 bead methods. I feel like that's not something I'm used to, so I'm not going to try and start doing it now when I know that my method, what I do, my clients' nails can last them, their nails last them a month and even longer. With most of my clients, they come in about three weeks for their fills, but I'm not gonna switch what I do just to try and do something different. Eventually, like, if it's something I wanted to try, I would definitely try it and practice it on my practice hand and get comfortable with it before I started to do it on clients. But that's not something I'm comfortable with. So especially if you're a beginner, don't try and worry about grabbing the one ball bead method, and that's not important. The important thing is that you're comfortable with what you're doing, the size bead you're working with, the different size beads to get it for on different areas of the nails. If you're working towards the cuticle, if you're working towards the tip or apex, the amount to get. So work with what you're comfortable with. If you can do the 1B method, that's good for you. Congratulations. More kudos to you, because I definitely cannot. And this is just what I'm comfortable with. Remember, you want to do things that makes your work easier, what you're comfortable with, and some things that, that's not going to make it harder for you. So, if you want to try my method, starting in the middle, to build up that apex, and if that ends up working for you, great, So there's plenty of different things that you can do and different methods out there to try. Definitely try it on a practice hand or yourself before, your client, because you don't want your client to come back and, not even a week later that their nails have broken. So, like I always say, make sure you do what's comfortable for you. Another thing I wanted to mention is that when you're doing acrylic nails, you'll see how I'm constantly turning her nail. That's because I'm looking at her nail from different angles. You want to look at the nail from different angles and not just on the on top view as if you're doing it, is because when you look at it from the side, both different sides, you flip her hand around, you can see where you've missed spots, where it's thinner or where it's too thick. So when you go and file, or you know to file if it's too thick right there, or you can go back and add more acrylic where it's too thin. You want to check different angles because you want to make sure that it's thin towards the cuticle, it gets thicker towards the apex, and then it goes thinner towards the tip. So make sure you check for different angles, on all of the nails. You'll see me constantly turning, and that's just because I'm checking from different angles. Also, when I'm working towards the cuticle, when I'm getting my cuticle bead, like right here, I dab the back of my brush, and that's removing any excess liquid out of my brush. And the reason why I do that is because when I place the bead down towards the cuticle area, I don't want all the acrylic to just flood the cuticle. A little bit might still get on the side, and you just want to take your brush and wipe it away, like right there. But you don't want to work with a bead that's too wet or too dry. I just tap it a little bit on the back, and that removes any excess liquid that I have, so that way I have the right consistency, especially working by the cuticle area. You don't want to flood the cuticle area with acrylic because you want to make sure it's flush to the natural nail and not on the actual cuticle, because then you'll get lifting. So, and that'll come into, you'll know that if you have acrylic on your cuticle when it's time for you to go around the cuticle area and seal it with your drill bit after all the acrylic is done. Now I'm done with all the acrylic. I'm going in and I'm taking my same sanding band and I'm just pushing down the skin on her sides, on the sides, to make sure that there's no acrylic right there. I'm going to use my same sanding band and I'm going to seal the cuticle area, and I'm going to go over the entire nail to make sure there's no lumps or bumps. You want the surface of the nail to be extremely smooth. So my problem that I used to have was I wasn't doing this step first. I was going in and reshaping the nails first, and then I was going in to do this. And when I was reshaping the nails first, I felt like I was filing too much on her sidewalls, and it was thinning out the acrylic in that area. And then some of my clients would come back and there, especially like the thumb, it would start to crack right there. So what I do now is I go in and I seal the cuticle area and I file over the entire nail completely, and I use my sanding band. Well, I don't use my sanding band anymore. Now I go in with a fine ceramic bit with my drill, and I use that. I used to use my sanding band until I just got one of the fine grit ones. But it's okay to use your sanding band, especially if you've been doing nails and you don't really have to debulk the nail too much. You don't have any lumps or bumps that you need to get rid of. If you have lumps or bumps, or your nail's not really smooth from the acrylic application, like if you're a beginner, then you want to go with something that's just like a little bit more coarse. Even like the fine drill bit will do, or even a medium. But the reason why I'd say fine is just because it just depends on how long you've been doing nails, and if you're comfortable with using a drill bit around the cuticle area, because you don't want to cut your client. So yeah, I'm going to continue to do this on all 10 nails, and then we are going to go in with my hand file and reshape the nails to perfect that shape. Now I'm going in with my same hand file and I'm going to just perfect her shape. There's not too much shaping I have to do. Her shape was pretty much, the same. But we're just going to go in and just perfect it to give that extra crisp shape. And that's when I was telling you, when you're doing your acrylic application, you want to take your brush as you're doing the acrylic application and slide, down the side of the nail, and really, make sure you keep that shape. So when you go to file, there's not too much filing you have to do, and you just make it easier on yourself instead of harder. I file her thumb like this, and then with the other nails, I turn her hand around, so I'm looking at it from the client's point of view to make sure everything's straight, and then that's when I file the tip of the nail to make sure that it's really straight. Right here is what I mean by I turn her hand around and I just file the tip, and that way I can see it, their nails, how the client will look at their nails, and you make sure everything's straight, nothing's crooked, and you have a nice perfect shape. Now I'm going to go in with my buffer and just lightly buff the nails to remove any scratches. After buffing the nails, you want to remove all the dust and either wipe them off with alcohol or go send them to wash their hands. Now we are going to begin the nail art. Like I mentioned before, we're going to be doing a cow print, and just look at how beautiful that was. We're going to be doing a cow print on like 3 nails each hand, I believe, and then we're going to go in with some bling. So all I'm going to do is just take my black paint and just draw on different spotting shapes. You don't want them to all be the same. You just want them, to look like a cow print. You could look at a picture if you need to. And then I'm going to go in and just add a little bit of dots. Now we are going to go in and do her bling. So we did 2 cow print nails per hand, and now we're just going to apply some bling. Use whatever glue that you use, and yeah, just place some bling on. This was just a complete freestyle, so I kind of just went with the flow and did whatever I wanted. She pretty much lets me always do what I want. So I'm gonna go in with my Swarovski diamonds, of course, and just do some diamonds on, I think, either 1 or 2 nails per hand. So yeah, just continue to watch, and then we'll top coat, put some cuticle oil, and she'll be done. I'm going in now and applying some of these little gold balls. I feel like these really just add a lot of accent to bling nails. It just brings out the bling more, at least in my eyes. So I'm just gonna add in a couple. They do stay pretty good. Probably around the 3rd week is when a client is missing a couple of the balls. But for the most part, they stay pretty good. Right here, I'm going in and I'm going to add some more Swarovski diamonds. I believe I'm using SS10 in crystal AB, and I'm just adding 3 at the tip and 3 at the top going down. Right here, we are going in with matte top coat, and we are going to do the cow print nails matte, and all the fingers that have diamonds, we're going to do those shiny. So apply your top coat and cure your top coat. When you're done with that, apply your cuticle oil and you're done. Now we are going in with our cuticle oil and applying it around the cuticles, rubbing it in, and she's all done. They turned out so pretty. Thank you guys for watching my video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share with your friends, family. And look at how these nails turned out. They're just so beautiful. The Swarovski diamonds are so shiny. The cow print turned out cute. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And see you guys in my next video.